Welcome, food and fitness lovers, to Tina's Ageless Kitchen. Welcome, food and fitness lovers, to Tina's Ageless Kitchen. I'm Chef Tina Martini. You might know me as the Medicine Chef. Well, today in the Ageless Kitchen, we're gonna do the biggest gourmet trend going, and you're not gonna believe what it is. It's toast. Can you believe that, chefs? We've actually made a fashionable trend out of toast. So today we're going to look at some gourmet versions and talk about bread, yes or no. And a lot of people are saying no to bread, but let's look at what the bread's made of, because there's a lot of good things that can go into bread, and I've got some good examples here. Also, we have great gluten-free options now for those that are practicing the gluten-free lifestyle, and gluten-free is good for everybody, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so let's look at what we've got on the table in front of us to work with, and you at home, you're going to get your creativity going as well, chefs. All right, so let's start over here. I've got a little bit of purple onion and yellow onion caramelized in a balsamic reduction. Now, if you've watched me at all, you know that I love the technique of reduction. What is it, chefs? It's just done over time and heat, letting the moisture or the water evaporate out of whatever you're reducing. So what I've done is just put the cherry balsamic, yum, on the stove and let it kind of boil away and let it get thick to a syrup consistency. And then I put the julienne onions in and just let them soften and make almost like a jam consistency out of it. Out of this world. We do it on the mini bagel sandwiches in the Ageless Kitchen that's now open in San Diego. All right, I've got some pears here, and I used the Bartlett, and I poached those in cherry juice, and it's all about the cherries, because it gives richness, it gives depth, and it gives that gorgeous color. And chefs, you know what I say, we want a colorful palette so that we know we're getting all the vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. All right, so we poached those and chilled them, and I've sliced into them so you can see how gorgeous the flesh stays white and creamy, and then the outside has that gorgeous ruby color. Now these little guys, super cute. They're just little onion rings, and what I did was used a shallot and soak those in buttermilk. Of course, if you're doing vegan, you could do unsweetened almond milk or hemp milk, whatever you like. All of it's got benefits. It's in the coarse grind cornmeal, and that's what I have here. Now with corn, we know that they're playing with the corn too much, just flat out. We're genetically modifying our corn too much, and we don't know what the end result is, but I do have an idea what happens when we mess with our food too much. So with corn, all the way across the board, your corn chips, tortilla chips, etc., you're gonna buy organic, so that way you're avoiding the genetically modified organisms, and that causes a lot of disruption in the intestines and that kind of thing. I've made some cream cheese here with roasted red bell peppers, and that's one of my personal favorite ingredients. That fire roasty on the tomatoes, the red bell peppers, all of that just lends that different layer, that little something extra that creates layer upon layer of deep flavor. Now, the polenta toast, if you will, is here on the plate, and all I did was cook down that cornmeal, and we'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Now, once that's cooked down, you just spread it out on a greased sheet. You use your pan, spray your coconut oil, whatever you like, and let that chill. And then you could cut it into any shapes. You could do stars if you wanted. You could do hearts, you could do rounds. Then we just toast that up a little bit. Now, I like to toast in a pan as opposed to a toaster, because what does a toaster do, chefs? It really just dries the bread out, doesn't it? So putting just a little bit of olive oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil, whatever you like, avocado oil is delicious as well, and all of them have their different benefits. So let's start with the bread. I've got an organic sourdough, and what I'm discovering is that a lot of my gluten-free clients, they can do the sourdough as long as it's organic. Sourdough contains digestive enzymes that really strengthen our stomach and our ability to digest breads and things like this. This is a golden raisin and flaxseed bread with cinnamon, and it is gorgeous. The flaxseed gives you fiber, and it also gives you those omega-3s as well as high lignans to protect our hormone receptors. This is a multi-grain, and this has many different grains in it. You'll see it's got millet, it's got flaxseed, it's got barley, and it's got some sunflower seeds in it. All of those are great. What do the sunflower seeds do, chefs? You know, they help us burn body fat and specifically belly fat. So I'm gonna love that multi-grain toast. All right, I've got some orange zest, some cream cheese. Now, often I like to use the mascarpone, which is the Italian cream cheese. I've just got some good old American cream cheese here though, and I'm just gonna put it in a bowl. It's at room temperature, and I'm gonna add a little bit of the orange zest. Now the orange zest contains all the beautiful essential oils, and so it's gonna create a really deep, rich orange flavor, and that's what we want. Now, what about calcium? We're going to get to that a little bit later on, but I want to say something about calcium with the orange zest specifically. Calcium can't be absorbed by the body unless it's in an acidic environment. What does the orange zest have? It has a little bit of acid, doesn't it? So it's going to help us uptake all those nutrients even better. All right, so I've got that smashed up, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect, and we're just going to use that as our bed. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the cinnamon raisin toast, and if you cut them into triangles or into little squares, you could do like the bite-sized appies, and those would be great. So we just spread just a little bit of the orange cream cheese, and we want a relatively thin layer. So just work that across with the back of your spoon. And then once we get that thin layer on, we can then begin to decorate the toast with our pears or whatever we like. So there's our thin layer, and that's our foundation. So normally we're going to pick some kind of glue to adhere the other things to the toast. Does that make sense? This is a roasted red pepper cream cheese, and we can put that down and have that adhere the other ingredients and the other toppings, so that when you're trying to eat your toast, stuff isn't falling off and going all over the table. All right, when we come back, we're going to put a few more things together, and we're going to work with these beautiful poached pears and continue to talk about the benefits of bread.
Hi, I'm Todd Allen Lowe of Allen's Pantry. Be sure to watch my new upcoming shows only on Foody TV.
All right, and we're back, and it's all about toast. So let's decide to enjoy bread. One way or another, we're gonna find some bread that we can eat that's not gonna make us fat, and we shouldn't be worrying about that anyway. Let's focus on wellness, not thinness, okay? And that way we can enjoy our life and have the body that we want too, the physique we want. All right, so I've added some ingredients now, and the table keeps growing and growing, chefs. Why? Because it's unlimited what you can do with your gourmet toast. I mean, something as basic as avocado smashed on toast with a little bit of tomato pesto is considered really gourmet now. So the sky's the limit, and you see all the different things that we have to work with, so we can go either savory or sweet. Now, in the beginning, we spread a little bit of the cream cheese with the orange zest on our raisin cinnamon bread. And what would go great with that? How about some sauteed apples, chefs? Let's get a little tool here, and we can put a little bit of our sauteed green apples on, and look at how pretty that would look. Now, a little bit of blue cheese on top of this would be great if you like that, or perhaps some candied pistachios would be great, whatever you like. But you can see the idea here, how we're just assembling our toast in a gorgeous way that's also going to be easy to eat. You don't want your guests dropping stuff all over their gorgeous clothing, or, you know, not missing that great bite. We don't want to miss that great bite. All right, so I just sauteed a little bit of apples. You could do cinnamon, but there's already cinnamon in the bread, so I don't think we need to do too much cinnamon. We want that common thread working through our menu. As you see, we kind kind of pair things up that work and make sense, but we don't want all the same taste, because then what happens, chefs? Everything on your plate starts to taste the same. Now, a lot of people will tell me that when I cook for them, they can taste each and every individual ingredient, and the reason is because we treat each and every ingredient to its best potential, and then we put it together. All right, so we started with a little sauteed green apple, a little orange zest in our cream cheese on our cinnamon raisin bread. Let's go to something more savory now. I've got my polenta, and we looked at the cornmeal in that and made the polenta. Now, what we did with the polenta, just again to add another layer of flavor, is we used a little bit of the vegan bouillon. Now, there's no meat in here, but it tastes like a nice light chicken broth. And you know, very often chefs will not use water. And why is that? Well, water doesn't have any flavor. So most of the time we want to use some kind of vegetable stock, and I just think that vegan chicken broth is just perfect. It gives it a light flavor and texture. I've got some pine nuts. Now here's the good news about the pine nuts, chefs. They're one of the best appetite suppressants we know of. As a matter of fact, the oil in pine nuts is often used in diet remedies. So we've got the pine nuts here, a little bit of the purple onion, and a little bit of garlic in with our vegan broth. All right, so I'm going to use the red pepper, and it's the roasted red pepper. Again, fire roasting vegetables just brings that other special something to them. So let's go ahead and use a little bit of our roasted red pepper, and we can just dollop that right on our little toast. And then let's garnish with one of our little onion rings. And here's our little shallot ring, and it's just gorgeous. What we did again was soak it in the buttermilk and give that nice, snappy, bright flavor. Salt and pepper everywhere here, chefs. We want to bring out all the different levels of flavor, so a little bit of salt and pepper will do that for us. And then what you've got here is your crispy cornmeal, and we just fried it up in a little bit of grapeseed. But the good news here is that you could also bake them in the oven. Just put them on a sprayed parchment sheet, and they'll be nice and crispy. And you can see here they're easy to handle, and they're just exactly like a little onion ring. That's what they are. Shallots are just a fancy little onion. So we could do all of those up and then pass those by tray pass, or put them out and let people help themselves. Now, if you wanted, you could make it a little fancier and pipe the cream cheese on in a little rosette. And let's pick out some little onion rings here, and I think that you'll agree that anyone at your party would love to have one of these little gourmet toasts. And it's not the traditional bread toast, it's the organic cornmeal. Now, corn is one of the biggest stars on the HIV front. Yes, there's a protein in corn that actually kills HIV on contact. So the researchers are working with that special protein that is found in the corn again, and again organic only, and what they're doing is applying that to the therapy that will help eventually kill that dreaded virus, HIV. So yay for corn. Corn's not bad. There's lots of good things in corn. And what color is corn? It's yellow. So it's got the beta carotene, and the body transfers that into vitamin A. Vitamin A has what? Abscisic acid, the big cancer killer. All right, let's make another toast. So I've got the multi-grain here, and what do you think would be nice on here, chefs? Well, I think a little bit of the blue cheese. Let's move this over, and we'll use this. Now, we could even smash the blue cheese into a little bit of the mascarpone or into the cream cheese. I'm just going to put it here on the plate and just soften it up just a little bit. And then that will spread onto the toast in a nicer way. Again, though, if you wanted to put it in a little bit of the cream cheese, it would be nice and smooth, almost like a blue cheese sauce.
Hi, I'm Molly Bravo. Welcome to Organicopia, the total organic experience, and you're watching Foody TV.
All right, so we've got our blue cheese down. Now, I think a poached pear would be actually very fabulous here. And to kind of change it up a little bit, let's go with a little piece of pear. Excuse my sanitized fingers. We're gonna lay that there. And how about a little bit of the balsamic onion jam? Holy cow, I'm going crazy in the Ageless kitchen today, chefs. This is a fabulous flavor combination. Now, would you look at that? The blue cheese on the multi-grain toast. So we've got the millet. Now, here's the thing. 3 ounces of cooked millet has 10 grams of protein. Everybody's looking for the protein. Well, the grains are a big source of amino acids. How many amino acids do we need to get in our mouth to make complete human protein? 8. That's it, 8 essential aminos. The body does the rest and puts together those 28 amino acids that make complete human protein. So I think that we need to delve into how protein works in the body and how the amino acids actually create the protein that we need depending on the situation. Here's an example. You're getting ready to ride the roller coaster at the fair and you're scared to death, but it's a fun scared. Your body needs a certain kind of protein to help you endure that kind of trauma, if you will. It's more fun trauma. Now here's a bad scene. You're walking through a darkened parking lot and someone puts a gun to your head. That kind of trauma needs a different kind of protein to survive, and it actually starts kicking in the fight or flight response, and that's how we survive. So all those different proteins, and there's over 100 different proteins. We don't have any idea which ones we need, but the infinite wisdom in our body does. All right, so I've got the wild flavor combination here. And what's blue cheese good for, chefs? Well, it's one of the most healing things for Crohn's disease. So if you know anyone that's battling Crohn's disease, it's almost like a 3rd-degree burn in the colon that never heals. Blue cheese brings such relief to these people that are suffering with this very challenging health obstacle. So the blue cheese gives that nice enzymatic response, and it helps actually heal and strengthen the colon. So here's to the blue cheese. All right, so there's another beautiful example of what you can do with your toast. And then we've got one more. Let's go ahead with the sourdough. Now, as I spoke of the sourdough earlier, I'm finding that more and more of my clients that practice gluten-free, and what is gluten-free? Well, it's the removal of grains that are very high in gluten, such as wheat. Everything's been genetically modified too much, chefs, and so that's why it's starting to create that bloaty, that puffy, that discomfort that we feel when we eat non-organic grains. So I'm gonna really encourage you to go for the organic grains again, and you know I try to do 100% organic whenever possible. The sourdough you may want to look into. Now the sour taste that we have there, again, just like the blue cheese, it's an enzyme that actually strengthens the digestive tract. You've heard me say it many times, Chef. Where does your immune system live? It lives in the digestive tract. So these are foods that we can actually employ that have kind of a probiotic response in our digestive tract. And what that means is it helps build all the friendly bacteria. And I don't mean to beat the friendly bacteria to death, but it really is important, chefs, that we keep all that friendly action happening. And that's what we want. We just want to keep changing it up. You can't know that you're getting all the vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients if you're not eating a wide variety of food, and I'm sure that makes sense to you. Now, there's great stuff in eggs, but if we eat eggs every day, that's going to lead to some problems, and we're going to be missing out on a whole world of other nutrients. If we just eat apples, well, great, we've got quercetin and all kinds of other great minerals, but we're missing out on some of the other stuff that maybe a passion fruit could offer to us. So what my bottom line is with you, chefs, as it is always, we need to change it up. Be investigative, be adventurous, and really become a foodie, because all of these beautiful things can be put together in the way that you and your family enjoy. So we're back to the sourdough. Now, what do you think would be great on the sourdough? Well, I think that we could do a combination of our oranges with our cream cheese and our orange zest here. We can mix a little blue cheese in with that and have the citrus and the blue, or how about feta? Even a nice cream cheese just plain on its own with little crumbled bits of bacon if you like that, or pancetta. It's all great. What I'm going to do is kind of reverse the sweet and the savory and go backward and kind of recreate what we've done with everything on the table, but with a completely different taste and look. All right, so I've got the sourdough toasted on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of the red pepper spread on. And this is going to be very beautiful because it gives that unctuous kind of umami flavor that we're not sure what we're tasting, but we really love what we're tasting. Okay, so I've got a little bit of the roasted red pepper. How about we do a dollop of the orange on top of that? And that's going to bring in that lovely orange zest and give us just kind of a little nice garnish. And then I'm going to put apple on both sides. And I'm going to put a tiny piece of pear. And let's get that out. Whoops, he doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. We'll put a tiny piece of pear there. And then we'll do one of our onion rings. And we'll park that there. And I think you'll agree, anyone would love the taste sensations of the apples with the quercetin. And then we've got our pear here. Pears are one of the top fruits for abscisic acid. Pears have that vitamin A in them, but they've also got the soluble and the insoluble fiber. And what that does is the soluble actually binds that moisture to the intestine, and when the intestines are hydrated, then actually they're more efficient. There's 3 things that make the intestines run, and that's hydration, movement, and 2 kinds of fiber. So your pears are a really great choice. Now, are there any benefits to that cherry juice? Well, you know there are. And it's the strengthening of the vascular system, the building of the immune system, but more than anything, it's the balancing of the circadian rhythms. Now, the circadian rhythm is how you get into that deep, deep sleep. And as we age, unfortunately, and I know we're in the ageless kitchen, but aging is part of life. And as we age, we start to maybe not rest as well as we did when we were younger. Those kids, you can pick them up and they're like limp little noodles and they stay asleep. But as we age, that's not the truth for us. So the pears and the different things here, including the quercetin in the apple, really helps us to get into that deep sleep. And the cherry juice with its bioflavonoids, and more importantly, its anthocyanosides. Anthocyanosides are the thing that really target foot health that we mentioned before, and also the circadian balance, where you get into that deep sleep and you stay there for the majority of the night. And sleep is our most healing tool, isn't it, chefs? So we've got quite a little plethora of nutrition going on here. Roasted red bell pepper. Well, the red bell pepper is one of the highest sources of vitamin C on the planet. Vitamin C oxygenates the blood and makes us feel vital, and it helps our mind work clearly. It helps for decision making, and it also mends damaged tissue. And we've got one of our super fun little shallots here, and the cornmeal, really great to block viruses and stop the growth of unwanted bacteria in the body. Again, we're creating a probiotic environment here, a little bit of cream cheese for calcium. Now, does the calcium have an acidic environment here to be maximizing its potency? Well, yes, it does. It's got the cherry juice, it's got a little bit of the roasted red pepper, it's got a little bit of the cream cheese, and that creates enough of an acidic environment so that we're really utilizing that calcium. Our sourdough is going to strengthen our tummy and really make sure that we are able to assimilate all of the nutrients that we take in. And then just a really fun little look here with all of the different colors. All right, so let's take a look at all that we've done today, and let's look at some other options. Okay, so the first thing we did was the cinnamon raisin toast. And cinnamon, that's Mother Nature's antibiotic. It suppresses bacterial infections, and it really helps heal the pancreas. So cinnamon, really good for all of us. It helps keep that blood sugar level all day. Raisins, now here's a question for you, chefs. What has more antioxidants, dried fruit or fresh fruit? The answer is dried fruit. Why? Because all of the water has been removed and the phytonutrients have been concentrated. So we've got golden raisins in this spread, and again, the cream cheese kind of works with that fruit and helps us to absorb all of those antioxidants. A little bit of the fresh orange zest here into the cream cheese, and it just makes it that much more special. Flavored cream cheeses, the way you like. Dill, green onions, garlic, that makes a nice savory herbaceous spread, and that would be beautiful on your gourmet toast. Even an herbaceous spread like that with some green apple, yum, yum, yum. A little sprinkle of your blue cheese to strengthen the colon and give you all of those great probiotic bacteria in the gut. And then we did a different toast, a little off the beaten path with our toasted up polenta. Now you can buy polenta that's already made, but it's not quite as nice, of course. The polenta you make yourself, chefs, is going to be so silky and have such a beautiful mouthfeel that it's worth the 20 or 30 minutes of stirring. And on top of that, it's a great bicep workout. So get the polenta and make it fresh out of the cornmeal. You've also got your pine nuts, and that's a great appetite suppressant. So after you're done eating all of your beautiful gourmet toasts, you can then take it easy because your pine nuts will kick in and they'll suppress that appetite for the rest of the day. Now remember, they're full of great fat that protects the heart and keeps the skin just beautiful. We've got our caramelized onions here, and onions that sit out, remember, 10 minutes with your onions and garlic before you start preparing them, and that elevates the allium compounds by 50%. So when you chop up your onions and your garlic, just let them sit out for a few minutes, and that's going to maximize those cancer-fighting allium compounds. Researchers are looking at those as the #1 way to prevent cancer through food. So get your leeks, get your shallots, and again, have fun with your little onion rings. These are great, and they'd be great on sliders. Wouldn't those be cute? And the kids would just love them. Well, I hope you see a wide variety of possibilities here. And let's not forget our beautifully poached pears. Just take a look at that color. Now that would be a beautiful dessert on its own, but sliced on our toast with all of our different fixings, I think you'll find that anyone is gonna love your gourmet toast. And hey, what a great way to get out of the kitchen. You just fix a few pieces of toast and put some stuff on it, and you're with your guests, your family and friends, enjoying the evening, and you're not stuck in the kitchen. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this fun and crazy trend. The toast is gourmet now. Well, I'm Chef Tina Martini. I've enjoyed my time with you. I'll see you next time. Here's to your health.